listen to people who come before you because they're not trying to hold you back. They're really trying to help you, learn from what they've gone through and their mistakes.
Well, it's an exchange.
It's a beautiful exchange.
It's an exchange. And maybe you could tell me, maybe you could tell the audience what your name.
My name is Jason Dunman.
And how long have you been working outside of school? And what school did you go to?
Let's see, I went to the Art Institute, San Francisco Art Institute. I graduated in 97, 98. And I've been working since then, continuously.
Yeah. So, what are you doing? Are you painting, or what are you doing, basically?
Right now I'm remodeling homes.
Okay.
But as far as art making goes, I'm doing a lot of things, I guess.
Like what?
I'm making kung fu films, kung fu shorts, and I'm doing a lot of choreographing, stuff like that, and a lot of hip hop album covers and hats, t-shirts, and clothes, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. As far as the actual art goes, I mean, I paint and draw like every day and make stuff.
What do you usually draw and paint?
It doesn't really revolve around anything specific, I think for me, it's more about staying cute, staying sharp. It's so habitual for me. I've been doing this since I was so tiny. Like my mother gave me a pencil when it was so far back I can't remember. So kind of revolves around whatever: trees, houses, people, piles of shit, whatever.
Yeah. Well, what art has inspired you? Like from when you were a little kid. What art and what artists and what themes?
My grandmother had this painting in her house. It was like one of those flea market, palette knife paintings done real quickly in like bright orange and black or something like that. And I remember just touching that. It was so, because it's tactile.
Yeah.
And I remember being like 3 or 4. That's what I want to do. I want to make that. I want to make that. And ever since then, that's just pretty much what I've been after. But as far as who inspires me, I grew up in traveling a lot. My parents were in the military, so I've been here, I've been there, I've been here, I've been there. I lived in Greece for a lot of years, so I have had a lot of that kind of influence. I really like Japanese art, Chinese art, because I really like the single stroke. I like the control they have, like the color choices they use, and how they're able to work within a kind of 2D plane, but still create something, pretty magnificent. As far as people more modern, I'm really into Monet and Van Gogh. I mean, I don't think too many people can mess with those cats, especially Monet. As far as painting goes, being a painter.
What did you like about Monet and his painting?
He was a simple man. He just went for what he liked, which was things around him, objects around him, daily life, light. He was really into light, and I think that a lot of people don't understand. Maybe they do know that, everybody knows that, but I think when you really look at his work and you read about his life, that's like the most important thing for him is the light and how light affects your life. As I get older, I kind of come to that as I go back and look at his work. And he was going blind too. I got bad eyes. You got bad eyes. And the small things become important to you. And I just like the way he approached painting. Everything is beautiful. It's beautiful.
Did you like anybody modern, like I don't know, Pollock, Basquiat?
Pollock was whatever. Basquiat was okay, but I was into graffiti growing up, so.
You were into graffiti.
So he was cool, but whatever.
Yeah. Where were you doing most of your graph work?
Oh God, I was like mostly St. Louis area, because that's where I went to high school. Now it's huge there, but when I started doing it, there was no one doing it.
Yeah. So you weren't in as part of a crew or anything?
Yeah, we had a small crew, but I mean those things come and go, and like I said, I'm 32 now, you know. And when I left St. Louis, I must have been about 18.
Mm-hmm.
It was really too much. When I left, there was only like 2 crews there, and now it's really big, but you know, it's something different.
Yeah.
So,
So what works are inspiring you now?
as far as art goes,
Yeah.
no,
Nothing?
no.
You don't go to museums anymore?
I do, but I mean, you know, art is such a time-based kind of thing. You know, it's like this weird cycle. Like for this 15 years, we're gonna do this. For this 15 years, we're gonna do this. And art to me nowadays seems like it's more like a gap. It's more like fashion. You know, I go to a lot of shows, and I do go to a lot of shows. I do go to a lot of museums, and I just see the same kind of thing over. And it's just boring. But that's just my opinion. You know,
Yeah.
I don't really see too many things that are exciting. My daily life is more exciting.
What do you do in your daily life as compared with?
Making art. And is what's more exciting in my daily life?
Yeah.
Well, for me, making kung fu movies is way more exciting.
What do you do in a kung fu?
I fight and I choreograph, edit, film.
Are you do you do are you black belt or white belt?
No,
Or?
I do qigong and Wing Chun. And Wing Chun is, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of Bruce Lee's Mother Style, blah blah blah. You know, I've been doing that for seven plus years, I guess, and you know, it's pretty fun. I like that.
So it's kung fu movies
Yeah.
that you're interested in? I mean
I'm interested in action. I like action. I like movement, explosion, feeling, emotion. You know, I guess I kind of like it all, but it's kind of got to be done in the right kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I just watched this movie Unleashed with Jet Li. It has Morgan Freeman in it, so you know he's gonna bring some real acting to the table,
Mm-hmm.
and then Jet Li is gonna bring some real martial arts to the table. It's a guy movie, like Legally Blonde is a girl movie. You understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it goes through those men emotions, you know. But then there's a lot of explosions and a lot of killing. But then you still have this like family, this little family thing that's going on. I just like that kind of stuff. It's cute. It's fun. It's fulfilling for me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
art is just something I've always done. So I guess maybe I don't really hold it as important as other things, and that's probably my take.
Yeah, you mean like drawing and painting?
Drawing, painting. Let me see if I still have this stuff in my pocket. Man, I couldn't tell
Well,
you.
drawing and painting is your hats, right?
Well, drawing and painting is my hats, but I do this for money. You know, I have a little wire sculpture in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I be making stuff all the time. Like if I find something, you know, and plus like if I'm on the job site, I like arrange stuff and take a picture of it and throw the trash away. Because I work with construction materials all day, so
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of interesting things to play with. You know, a lot of wood, panels, pipe, metal. You know, I paint because it's practice. You know, I'm not limited just to just painting. You know, I mean, I like installation, I like film, I like performance, I like sewing. You know, so I consider myself a little more well-rounded. I don't pigeonhole myself in just to being a painter or a drawer. I find that too limiting. It limits me as a person. You know what I mean?
When you were there at art school, when you were there at art school at the San Francisco Art Institute, what things were you interested in, and what did you come away with?
I was interested in knowing why I liked what I liked, and why I found what I found exciting. You know, like the floor and the concrete and the texture. Why are these 4 squares so interesting? With the light bouncing and the black cord. Why do I think about stuff like that? You know, why am I predisposed to think about this when everybody else around me is like on something else? So I went there and searched, I guess, in myself, and to make art, to make my art better, to become a better painter, a drawer, you know, cinematographer, whatever, just to become a better artist. And I think I came away with a lot of good knowledge about myself and the world around me. You know, helped me grow up a little bit, definitely, and a big bill.
A big bill.
A big
your practice and, what does your practice and expression have in common with people who you graduated with? And I mean, like what you're thinking, like, do you feel that, are you still in contact, for instance, with a lot of people that you've,
Yeah, I'm in contact pretty much with the same people that I hung out with in school. You know,
yeah,
some of them I don't see as much, I don't talk to them as much, but they're close enough that I can call and say, hey, how's so and so, or how are you doing? You know.
yeah,
But I think we're growing up as adults too, so a lot of us are, have jobs. Like I have a real job, quote unquote.
yeah,
Kahinde's being famous now. He's an artist.
yeah.
It's a weird question. I don't know.
I don't either. Did you feel that, so did you feel, you really feel that your education really help you kind of, help you with what you do now and how you, and how you think? You feel that you've evolved?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Al Wong,
Yeah.
he was the first guy I had there. Blew my head away. What is this guy talking about? Installation, site specifics, like what the fuck? What is this? What do you mean? I just didn't understand. I was always the special kid, always the talented kid.
Mm-hmm.
I went to his class and it was very humbling because he smashes your mind. He makes you rethink what you think you know and show you don't know anything. There's more on this side. Think this way. Try it like this. You, Dewey, Franklin. You guys just really helped me think more, explore more,
Mm-hmm.
and not be so stuck into I know everything. You can't grow like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty much the most important thing.
Do you feel, what do you feel your art, is gonna look like, say, next week? Or maybe even next year? What is, give me a projection.
Next week I have more flower paintings to make.
Flower?
Yeah. See, I'm trying to do a gimmick, right? So I've always done a lot of different things, like I said. So now I just go and finish different styles, and I put them away. That's what I do. I finish different
Like what?
styles.
What do you mean different styles?
Like, you got a suit,
Okay.
you got your play clothes, and you have your Sunday clothes, and you have your swimming suit. I do the same thing. I mean, like last month I did nothing but girl faces on linen, acrylic, beautiful girls, pretty girls, big canvases. That's all I did. Now I'm doing only flowers, pretty flowers, big flowers, small flowers, because I did that thing with Michael Lynn, Flowers, okay, this is pretty. Before that I did these little intricate cutouts on different pieces of paper, Thai paper, rice paper, Japanese paper, but it was all samurais and kung fu guys and weird little poses, It just varies from Carlos. I really try not to, I just try to make stuff. I really, I don't think like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I don't think like, what is my work gonna be like next week, or what's gonna be like next year. I just make it, and I really try to let the work speak for itself, Because I learned one thing from Dewey. He used to tell me this all the time. You got a heavy hand. Not just me in general. He was just giving an example to the class. If you have a heavy hand or a heavy mind, you're gonna have problems because you're gonna force your work. Your work should be telling you what you should do. And that's how I believe. That's what I believe. So I couldn't tell you what I'm gonna make next week. I have no idea. More hats, more shoes.
More of the everyday. Do you think in terms of themes like that, or it's, how did you come to a place where you would do certain themes for certain, at a certain time? I mean, like before, for instance, when you were at school, it was different. I don't know how different it was, but maybe you could talk about that.
Well, in school I had space. I mean, this is the real world, and the real world is like I'm painting in my kitchen right now. I can't do sculptural pieces. You know what I mean? I can do little tiny ones, but I can't get loose with a TIG welder and ceramic and like I don't have a kiln. I don't have you know, I don't have I don't have a big standing chop saw or you know the big
Yeah,
saws that I
yeah.
can come in and cut big panels and do crazy stuff and cut them and make jigsaw things. I can't do that. I have all this plastic. In the wood industry, they're changing over to all plastic materials in the carpentry field. We made a bunch of boxes. So I cut all the extra pieces into these little teeny strips, like 16th-inch strips, 16th inch deep and like 2 inches wide. I'm gonna make a boat, a sailboat, the classic with the ribs and everything. But I have nowhere to build the damn thing. I have all this material, but I have nowhere to build it. So for me, a lot of my art making is I don't have space, so I can only do so much. So I do what I do right now to keep from going crazy. I think that might be more what it is. I think.
Um, knowing, knowing knowing your friends the way that you do, I think that, like it's basically you're hanging with people who are not necessarily ethnically attached, but it's basically people who you have a lot in common with, right? Or how does that?
The majority of my friends are black,
Mm-hmm.
and people that I hang out with. I mean, like I went to art school,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, there was a lot of white kids. There weren't many black kids there, and most of the people I hung out with were like Momar, Mike, Peter.
Yeah.
They were black kids. Trixie, she's Spanish.
Yeah.
Jet, he's mixed. He's Mexican and white.
Yeah.
So most of the people I hung out with, I think I hung out with them because we had something culturally in common, as well as artistically. I mean, I hung out with people who weren't black, who weren't of color. But for me, it's hard because I'm a military kid first, and that's always been an issue in my life before anything else. Like I just really never fit into a lot of places because I've been so many places and seen so many things that I'm the one who's weird,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, most of my friends are like me, man. I hang out with a lot of rappers, I hang out with a lot of people who do stuff that aren't good, I hang out with a lot of normal people. I have friends pretty much across the board, but my close knit family is mostly people like me, mostly black kids, that do a lot of. They're not necessarily making art, but they're doing their thing,
Mm-hmm.
And those are just people that I hang out with.
Right. So how do you all come together? Do you think in terms of coming together in terms of like let's all do something, or is it just individual?